Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let's get everyone in. Yes, certainly. Happy summer, everyone. Welcome. All right, as you enter today, let's get to the next slide, Kat, if that's okay. We're going to have you in the chat, if you would, please take a moment to introduce yourself, your organization, and your role. Also, please share what you are looking forward to most about this summer's workshop. We're also excited to have you here. Hello, hello. Oh, I love when I see familiar names. So please take a moment to introduce yourself, your organization, and your role. And please share what you are looking forward to the most about this summer's workshops. Here we've got someone from LAUSD. Thank you, Denise. Awesome. Oh, Shasta County in the house. Catherine, hi. I do know Catherine. Chris, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Wow. Somebody's looking forward to learning and growing more in the scope of technology. Awesome. Then you're in the right place. I'm really, my name's Sonal Patel, by the way, and I am from San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. I'm the program manager there. And I want to say I'm just looking forward to all of the learning opportunities that educators and administrators and counselors are going to be getting this summer. I'm just excited to see the outcomes of those workshops and to see how it's going to impact students in their classrooms once these workshops conclude. It's going to be a really great summer. Welcome, Kayla. Thank you. If you're just arriving, please in the chat, enter your name, your organization, your role, and what you're looking forward to the most about this summer's workshop. Thank you, everyone. We've got somebody who's excited to provide quality tech education to students who need it. I love that, Nico. Thank you. We've got Sarah, who is looking forward to getting more CS into her classes. Thank you. Meeting cool people who will teach me a lot. Love it. Awesome. Let's keep adding those comments while people join us. Feel free to respond to one another. Somebody knows you, Tracy. Woohoo. We've got Wendy. Looking forward to implementing CS in her classroom. We've got Eva. Thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to learning more about technology. Tawny, yay, hey. Looking forward to diving into foundations of CS. Awesome. So if you could please continue to add into the chat what you're looking forward to the most. Hannah, if you could just put that prompt into the chat, really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. So I just introduced myself. I'm going to ask that Kat and Jared, who are also our hosts, come off camera. We've got Jared Amalong, the Director of Computer Science and Digital Learning for Sacramento County Office of Education. And of course, many of you know Kat Goyette, who is our computer science coordinator from California Department of Education, and she is waving at us. You are going to be hearing from our absolute VIP guest, Stephen Callahan, who's the director of Fab Lab at San Joaquin County Office of Education. So shortly you'll be hearing from him and his CS story. I don't want to give away too much, so we're going to move to the next slide as we thank all of our partners who have been involved in the leadership of our EWIG grant, including CDE, CS for CA, Sacramento County, San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, CDE Foundation, and UCLA. Thank you so much for your leadership. And we also have numerous county office providers, some of whom you will be hearing from in just a moment. And as our partners and county office education leaders continue to collaborate, what we truly believe, regardless of the grade level you're teaching or the content area that you teach, that all students should learn CS and all teachers can absolutely teach CS. And our story is going to begin today. It has already actually started, but we're going to continue to tell that story. We're getting together today to tell that collective story. And we're going to move on to the next slide as I remind you that the Summer of CS story actually started in 2018. I know it feels like such a long time ago, but it started with the implementation of Seasons of CS, which is a professional learning model to build the capacity of you as educators, to broaden access to quality, culturally responsive, and standards-aligned K-12 CS education. And we are looking forward to continuing to build the capacity of administrators, teachers, and counselors during our Summer of CS this year. Thank you for being here. We have so many regions involved in this. We have regions 1 all the way through to 7 involved in this. And participants were supported by the California statewide systems of support. And right now, we're going to have our region leaders who are on the next slide come off mute and introduce themselves. And they're going to tell you what they're excited about too. So let's start off with Region 1's Tracy Allen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to see so many familiar names in the chat there, so keep them coming. I'm the Senior Director of Professional Learning at Butte County Office of Education and also the Region 1 lead for Seasons of CS. I have the privilege of representing the far north state, as you just saw on that previous map, which goes from Butte County to the Oregon border. And I think I'm most excited about connecting with other educators around the state this summer that are new to computer science like myself. So I just dove into this world a few years ago, and so I'm constantly learning and growing with the team of experts that you see on this panel with us today. So feel free to reach out and connect.
Thank you so much, Tracy. We always love to have you here. And Region 2's Dr. Rebecca Bailey couldn't be here today, but she definitely wanted me to let you know that she is really looking forward to this summer, in particular the elementary workshop that is being hosted within the region and CSPD week. I'm going to turn it over to you, Stephen.
Okay, I'm going to make it really quick because I know I'm talking a little bit later. We have 4 different sessions that we're doing here in in Region 3 in the Central Valley. And it's going to be hands-on CS in STEM, that's interdisciplinary, and it's for elementary. We've got physics with phones, that's in partnership with the Lawrence Livermore Laboratory and the Concord Consortium. That's focused on data and computer science in physics. We have bootstrap algebra, and we also have CS for elementary. I'm excited about computer science being learned in interdisciplinary ways, because all teachers, and that means science teachers, it means math teachers, it means elementary school teachers, all teachers can teach CS and all students can learn CS. So we're excited for everyone to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. And we're looking forward to hearing your story shortly. I'm going to turn it over to you, Judy Ann.
Hi, everyone. I'm Judy Ann Ganschow. I am the Computer Science Coordinator in Santa Clara County Office of Education. I am the lead for Region 4, which includes Santa Clara, San Mateo, San Francisco, Alameda, Solano, and Contra Costa. I think I did it, or named them all. I'm really excited this summer for the elementary offerings. We have offerings for all grade levels, but I'm especially excited for the elementary offerings because that's where I think the biggest magic happens, is students get to understand that their identity is connected to computer science. And if we can show teachers how they can bring that experience to their students, we're going to change their futures. So I love working with teachers that in elementary, and I look forward to bringing those experiences to all of you.
Thank you so much, Judy Ann. A little bit later today, you'll all get to share some of your CS story, and Judy Ann has done an amazing job in sharing hers through Flip. We'll show you that activity a little bit later on. Sorry, I gave it away a little bit, but you definitely have to listen to her video. So I'm going to turn it over to Rudy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having us here. And I am happy to come in from Region 5. I'm Rudy Escobar, STEM and Computer Science Coordinator here at Stanislaus County Office of Education. We actually surround Fresno, so we're from Inyo all the way to Kings County, to Larry, all the way to Monterey, Santa Cruz, and up to Stanislaus. And I'm excited because we are having some really good sessions. We are having leveraging microbits for inclusive and culturally responsive teaching. And we're also having elementary for CS as well in Tulare and in Stanislaus County. We're excited to have everybody come and join us as much as we can here, especially for the elementary and middle school world.
Trust me, when Rudy says he's excited, he means that he's excited, truly excited. Thank you, Rudy. And Dr. Baines from Region 7, major shout out to Region 7 because it's my region. Turning it over to you.
Hi there, my name is Heidi Baines. Like Dr. Patel said, I represent Region 7, and that is comprised of Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange, San Diego, and Imperial counties. We're really excited this summer to offer a variety of choices for people to engage with for professional development. And like others have mentioned, we have something for all grade levels, and so that's exciting to be able to offer. But I think what really excites me about the summer is that we have experienced teachers and new teachers all coming to participate in computer science professional development. And it's excited to see it grow, and excited to see teachers that are, already involved get more involved, and those that are new, stepping in to learn more, and especially those that are excited about integrating into their courses. So exciting summer of things going on all throughout the state, and just happy to be part of it. But I'm gonna pass it back to Dr. Patel, and Region 6 needs to pop in.
Thank you. Sorry, Lauren.
Yes.
I was going to totally go back to you, but yes, save the best for last.
No, well, thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with this incredible team. And I'm Lauren Aaron-Garin. I serve as Director for Equitable Learning Systems at the Santa Barbara County Education Office, and also as the Region 6 lead. And Region 6 includes our incredible partners in Fresno, Kern, Los Angeles, San Luis Obispo, our county, Santa Barbara, and Ventura. And we serve almost a third of the students in the state in our region. I'm very excited, and we all are, that we're able to offer 8 workshops this summer for Summer of CS. 7 of those are for elementary educators, and 1 is for administrators. And I also just want to say, I personally am excited because I'm going to get a chance to experience a new workshop this summer at CSPD Week, which is CS for ELs. And I love the fact that we are really taking on board being inclusive and creating computer science curricula that are going to meet the needs of our most marginalized students and least well-served students. I also want to give a shout out to Kern County because our first workshop in our region starts tomorrow, and they are going to be offering CS fundamentals with microbits. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Lauren, and a huge shout out to you all for all of your efforts, all of the behind the scenes work that goes into putting on workshops like this. It's definitely a year-long effort. And the partners that Lauren just talked about, we call them COE champions. That is actually words that we use within our realm. And they include so many county office partners that are involved in this work. So I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you that are involved, and we look forward to this summer. I'm going to turn it back to you, Kat. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. So I want to talk a little bit about the California CS story. We have such a diverse state, and I love that we have our COE champions and all of you that are supporting computer science for our students. So we're going to look a little bit at where California has been and where we're headed in the future. So the first thing that I thought I would do is think back to California in the 1900s. That's right. I did go to K-12 before the year 2000. Some of you may have as well. So these are the bookend schools for my K-12 education. And I do recall the Apple IIe being the first computer that I saw in my education, in my K-12 education. How about all of you? What was the first computer that you used? I'd love to hear in the chat if you'd like to share. What was the first computer that you ever used? A Tandy, we got a couple of those, the Commodore 64. All right. Excellent. Yeah, those Apple IIe's, they were everywhere. One in every classroom, I think, was the what they did back then. Excellent. And while you're answering that, I'll say as well, for me, we did have one Apple IIe in the classroom. And then when I went to high school, there were, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 computers in the library, but that was pretty much it. Fortunately, I had a computer at my home. I was one of the only of my peer groups in high school to have that. And so I got to learn some Logo Turtle and do a little coding that way. But there wasn't any computer science in K-12 when I was in high school. So then when we move forward, and thank you so much for inputting all of that information from us. Look how far we have come as a society and as a state. So in 2013, this was when the Hour of Code first started. We had the President of the United States coding. We had, and in California, maybe several of you were involved in that as well. These are images of kindergartners and 5th graders that were doing some coding. So going a little bit beneath just using that Apple IIe for Oregon Trail, right? And so such a great opportunity for those students. Oh, awesome. We have some people that participated in Hour of Code, that first one as well. So in 2018, as a state, California adopted standards. They were adopted unanimously by the state board. There's an image there of the amazing group of people that worked on it, some of whom are on this call, all of whom are amazing, one of whom you will hear from later. And so there are standards for grades kindergarten through grade 12. And we know that the standards actually indicate that they were designed for all students regardless of zip code, ethnicity, race, socioeconomic status. So English learners, we definitely want everyone to have computer science. So looking forward a little bit, what is computer science anyway? Is it just coding? Because I showed a picture of some Hour of Code, which was pretty cool. That's our algorithms and programming. If computer science was a body, algorithms and programming might be, using your hand to create some lists of tasks, some sequences. But it's more than that. It's more than that. I'm thinking of AI. Anyone heard of AI? Artificial intelligence, anyone? That's pretty important right now. It's in our world everywhere. How does AI fit with some of these concepts from which the standards are built? So one is the impacts of computing. You'll see the heart here. The impacts of computing is where we talk about what happens with computing devices. What can we do to be inclusive? Any ideas on how AI will be impacted as we teach our kids impacts of computing? Super important to do that. I know we've heard some people on this call talking about algorithmic bias, talking about who has access to the AI systems, what kind of decisions does it make? Then we also have networks in the internet. That's also a portion of computer science. So talking about those connections that we have. Data and analysis. Data and analysis is about all of that information that is what makes those decisions. And then finally, we have computing systems. I heard some awesome talk earlier about people excited about microbits. That's a physical computing opportunity. So computing systems is in that a lot. Gloria is talking about AI ethics and plagiarism. Absolutely. So there we've got that impacts of computing again. So I love that really computer science is in everything that we do. It's definitely can be integrated and interdisciplinary. That is what the standards appendix and introduction and the California implementation plan state. So we are so excited that all of you are here. And you all have so many diverse voices and different backgrounds that will really help us in this space to ensure that our students have a well-rounded education in computer science. So that was in 2018. And so in 2018, we know that computer science at elementary is vital, but we also know that the state only tracks only tracks high school enrollment for courses. And so had those standards come out in 2018, what happened? Where were we as a state? So if you look at this graphic in 2018-19, less than half of California high schools offered at least one computer science class, and only 5% of high schools actually enrolled in one. And there were some specific inequities as well. Students identifying as girls continued to be underrepresented. And students who identify as Pacific Islander, Native American, Filipinx, Black, and Latinx also continue to be underrepresented in computer science. So this is where we were in 2018-19. Have we made any progress? Well, let's look at some more data. California beyond 2020. Hopefully, we won't relive the 2020 times. So let's look at this great news. In 2010, only 2,397 California students took the APCS exam. And then in 2022, nearly 30,000 students participated in an APCS course. Now, I know there's a lot of elementary and middle school teachers on the call, but I have to tell you that when students, there is research that shows when students, particularly those that are underrepresented in computer science, when they're exposed to computer science at a younger age, they are much more likely to consider it and enroll in a computer science course in the future. So it's important for all of our levels to have excellent computer science opportunities. So here's the cool thing. You're all here for computer science, but some of you are science teachers, some of you are math teachers, some of you are multiple subject teachers, and here's the great news. Computer science is a gateway. It's a gateway in a good way because there was a report that came out from College Board that says students that take the AP-CSP exam, that's the Computer Science Principles exam, are more than 3 times more likely to major in a STEM career. And that is even more pronounced for our first-generation college students and for our underrepresented populations. So I want you all to know that you are making a difference for the sake of equity, not just for computer science, but also for STEM in general. So where are we going? Where are we more recently? So in the 2022-23 school year, the number of high schools offering computer science increased by nearly 10% since 2018-19. So we've gone up some, but we certainly want to work to increase access. That is the goal. Of course, as was said earlier, we believe all students should learn CS and all teachers can learn CS. So what's happening? What's happening at the state level? What's happening at the national level? What part of movement are you a part of now in trying to increase access to computer science? So this is an image here of our own state superintendent of public instruction, Tony Thurmond, speaking here on a panel with 3 other state superintendents as well. And they are speaking at a conference about AI, and they are speaking about CS for all, ways that they can ensure that all of the students in their great state, grades K-12, have access to computer science because we believe it's that important. So I want you to know that you are part of a statewide and national movement, and we value you, and we are so excited that you are on this journey with us. Support is growing. Advocacy is working. There is an assembly bill called the CS for All Act right now that our state superintendent is sponsoring that calls for all high schools to offer computer science, to offer a computer science course. And that is going through the legislature. And there were letters of support by over 20 organizations from both education and industry. So again, we are doing what we can to support you, and we are so excited that you are supporting students in this space. Where is our future? What is California's future? Well, I'd like to share a couple of images with you when I think about California's future. I went through California's public education system. I have children in the public education system. When I was a student in K-12, I did not have access to computer science. Granted, that was back in the 1900s, so no blame by any means. But what about the future? What about our children? What about those that are in our midst? Well, if you look at the image on the left, this was in 2018 or 19, and these students were sixth graders, so they are now in high school. And I remember all of these students were in a self-contained sixth grade class. So this teacher taught all subjects and decided to do some computer science and ELA integrated. And the great part was, at the time, the majority of these students had been exposed to any coding, and a couple of girls raised their hands and asked if there were any classes like this at the high school. And fortunately, I was able to say yes, because that particular high school they fed into did have computer science. See, it starts early. If those students didn't have exposure in that sixth grade class, and it was being recorded for a statewide video, which is pretty exciting, if they did not have exposure, perhaps they wouldn't have even known that that was an option. And then you'll see we have students that aren't even in our K-12 system yet. If you look at the image on the right, that's my 2.5-year-old. And you can see that she is using Scratch Junior to learn a little bit about how to code. If you look closely at her code, you learn that she's hasn't learned about loops yet. It's pretty messy. But the idea is she's in a space that is a relatively rural area, identified as female, Latinx last name. Statistically, she will not have access to computer science in her K-12 education. So we want to make sure that for students like Avery, that all of our students do have access to this in K-12. Want to thank you so much, all of you, for what you're doing. And I'm going to turn it back over to Sonal or Jared.
Thank you, Kat, and thank you for your leadership. I appreciated the story of computer science in California and the work that you're doing, and that many colleagues across the state and the county office system are working hard to help realize the idea that all students should learn computer science and that all educators can teach computer science. Our story continues. It's actually my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, a friend and colleague in the county office system, Mr. Stephen Callahan. Most days, Stephen is the Fab Lab director at the San Joaquin County Office of Education. It's a 7,000 square foot maker space in Stockton that he helps lead. A beautiful facility, might I add. Stephen runs field trips on topics from wearable technology to artificial intelligence. He also teaches summer camps there on topics from computer graphics to Lego robotics, one of my personal favorites as well. Stephen also teaches computer science and engineering as a member of faculty in the STEM Masters program at the Teachers College of San Joaquin. Also, Stephen leads professional learning in physics and chemistry. I think he mentioned that in his introduction earlier, and data science as well. Sometimes Stephen isn't teaching, but rather engineering new educational technology tools or exhibits for the lab, or working on one of the National Science Foundation grants on which he is a sub-awardee. Stephen has a bachelor's degree in cognitive science from UC Berkeley, go Bears, where he emphasized in computational modeling, something we refer to as AI these days. Kudos, Stephen. Stephen has a master's degree from the Teachers College in San Joaquin, and he's served as a public educator for 22 years. Thank you for your service, Stephen. Stephen's a Google Innovator, Google Trainer, Microsoft Innovative Education Expert, and has collected other tech certifications from Apple, Adobe, and other recognized tech corporations. Stephen, lastly, quite an accomplishment, was also the Robert Tinker Fellow for the Concord Consortium in 2021. Stephen has some amazing stories to share. I'm excited to tune in. So, Stephen, take it away.
Thank you so much, Jared. I am so excited to be here at the beginning of another year of the Summer of CS. There is so much opportunity for kids to learn computer science and to change their lives. That's really the promise of computer science, that there are great job opportunities, that there's a chance to lead innovation for our society, to solve problems, some of which we don't even know yet. There is so much that we can do with computer science, and realize now computer science includes AI. It's amazing. And I'm so thrilled to get a chance to talk with all of you educators who are making this future possible. All right, so I wanted to bring in kind of an artifact, a little bit of culture here, as far as computer science and what we have, what I've learned. So I have here a hard drive. Years ago, when I was in, when I worked at IBM, I got a chance to meet one of the engineers who designed the hard drive. And I can't remember meeting very many celebrities in my life, but I certainly remember that because he was someone who made something that I thought would be amazing to be a part of. I always loved technology. You'll see one of my first pieces of technology that I had when I was young, the Speak and Spell. The Speak and Spell was, for those of you who didn't have it, it was kind of like the iPad of our generation. It gave you a chance to learn spelling. It was a tiny little computer, and it was pretty advanced for its time. I also have here a stone tool. That stone tool was, at one point, a technology that people taught to each other, the same way that we're giving our students the ability to interact in their world and to be able to have the jobs of their time. Someone had to teach how to make this stone tool. And I know that it's not, my Speak and Spell is not that impressive, but it was something that allowed me to move to the next step. I am going to point out one of the exciting things that's going on today with us is we are at UC Davis, which is going to show up a little bit later in our talk. And as I'm talking about computer science, I am moving to a different room. But we're going to keep going. All right. So Radio Shack happened to be one of my favorite places to visit. Whenever I got a chance, when my mom was driving around town to different thrift stores, I would always beg to get to go to a place that had a computer. And there were two places where I could find computers. One of them was Radio Shack, and the other was the library. Don't get me wrong, I love the library for books. I read like every Garfield book that there was. But Radio Shack was kind of magical. It was like Diagon Alley in the Harry Potter books. It was full of all of these wonderful, amazing things that people could use to make something that I didn't quite understand, but I knew that I really wanted to be a part of. So any opportunity that I got, I would be at Radio Shack checking out whatever it is that they had. You'll also notice the first computer for me. I think my first computer at school was a little bit before CATS. Right there, we have that green screen Apple computer, and we played what you probably at least heard of, Oregon Trail. Oregon Trail and typing in elementary school was one of my first chances to get to work with this computer and kind of try and figure it out. Moving on, in middle school, there was kind of this revolution going on. It was the last time that no, I'm not gonna say the last. Yeah, it feels like the last time. The last time there was this groundbreaking technology that everyone wanted to be a part of. Right now it's AI, but when I was in middle school, it was the internet. And we talk about the internet, and I wasn't really clear what it was. People will talk about surfing the web, and we also had these brand new computers that I thought were even cooler than the ones before. They were so fast. They had a window that I could drag around on it. I could have simulations of an entire city called Sim City. I could play video games that had black and white, but still computer graphics that I could make and I could print out on these amazing printers that made lots of little dots. It was exciting. I remember using my summer in order to take a technology class at my junior high, because I felt like it was really important to be able to type and use these computers. One of very few things I was right about as a kid. Like that was a useful skill. Keep on using it. All right. Here is a technology that I used. And I should point out one thing about the previous computer. It's the Atari TSR-80 is the one there on the previous slide. It was a gift from my uncle. My uncle was interested in a lot of different jobs. He tried out different stuff, which I really admired. So he gave me the TSR-80, and it was kind of my first time figuring out what was going on inside of a computer. I'm not very good at video games. I write video games, but I'm not great at playing them. The last couple times my kids beat me at Mario Kart. I'd like to think that I taught them to play it well, but either way, not the best video game player. And so when I was younger and I wasn't able to win, I opened up the data files inside of the TSR, and tried to figure out what was going on. And I was able to edit the files so that I could jump levels. And that was my first time kind of trying to figure out, like, kind of low, like not hacking like illegal, just to be clear, but kind of hacking the program so that I could play more levels. It was kind of an aha moment where I realized, oh, I can get the computer to do stuff that I want to do. That's pretty cool. If we go to the next slide, please. Awesome. Okay. So I think sometimes nowadays kids have like the newest phone, and that's cool. Back like late 90s, it was all about, like, if you were in an honors class, it was all about having the right calculator. You had to have the right calculator. The first time I had a Casio, the cool calculator. But this was the thing, the TI-85. By the time I was graduating, I had the TI-85. And even better than the 85 was the book that came with it. Now, great thing about the 90s and 80s was boredom. Don't get me wrong, boredom doesn't sound great, but it is, because it gives you a chance to study things and to think about things. And, I was a little bored and I really loved computers. So any book that I could get a hold of that told me what computers did, I read. And so the TI-85 came with a book that explained the computer that I had just gotten, that I had begged my parents to get me. So I started reading it and learning TI Basic. And I wrote some text-based games in TI Basic. Oh man, that was fun, because it came with a little wire that you could pass the programs to your friends. You could be an in-school video game mogul with the TI-85. So that was my start to coding. I didn't get a chance to take any classes in coding until college, but by then I was already in love with it as a field. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the get from writing on the TI-85 all the way to what we have going on today at the lab. So I mentioned that this hard drive was from when I worked at IBM. I worked at IBM one summer, and then the summers after that, during college, until and then a little bit after graduation, I worked at Silicon Graphics. And it was around the time of the dot-com bubble burst. So when the dot-com bubble burst, I decided, you know, I want to give other students who might not have had an opportunity to get into computer science or to get into the type of college that I got to go to, that opportunity. And so I decided I was going to take about 5 years away from working in the Silicon Valley in order to be a teacher. And there weren't any, I didn't see any computer science teaching jobs. So I got my math and my science credentials, and I taught math and science for a while. But as I'm guessing a lot of people in this call know, teaching is an amazing job. And once I got started, it was, I want kids to have a chance to work in the Silicon Valley and have the amazing jobs that are offered there. But sometimes I felt like I was getting through the day, like putting in my hours, but teaching never felt like that. Every day was inspiring. Every day was meaningful. And at the end of 5 years, I was a teacher. And so I stayed in teaching. I've stayed in education for the last 20 some years. And it's been outstanding. That being said, eventually I got a chance to be a part of a grant at the San Joaquin County Office of Education. It was called SIMS, Secondary Integration in Math and Science. And I really liked working at the County Office of Ed. I liked getting to work with teachers. I liked getting to do innovative stuff. I eventually got the chance to work at the Teachers College, and oh boy, did I enjoy that. So eventually, they brought me on full time, and I got to work at the Fab Lab. The Fab Lab is the makerspace that was mentioned earlier, and we get to engineer, me and my team, we get to engineer cool new stuff in order to teach kids about computer science and engineering. So right here, what you'll see is an RFID reader. Let me explain here's my pitch for why I made an RFID reader. Kat already mentioned the 5 areas of the computer science standards. Well, algorithms and programming, everyone gets. Coding. Computer science includes coding, of course. But it also includes data. Like, so much of the work that kids are going to be doing in the future, so much of what, like, they're generating data right now, and we work with that data and we use that data in order to make decisions. That data is used in science, that data is used in engineering. Data is super important too. And so I wanted students to have a chance to understand how we can store data in different ways. And so there's an event that our county office holds because San Joaquin County does some amazing stuff as far as STEM. Our superintendent, Dr. Troy Brown, is so supportive and gives us tons of opportunities and resources. So we have an event run by Stephanie Zanini called the Girls Coding Collaboration. So we engineered an opportunity for students to be able to work with an RFID chip and store information about 3D shapes inside of a 3D printed item, both in a QR code and an RFID chip. And that was kind of cool. But since we now kind of understood how we can use RFID chips in education, we moved on and we're like, okay, on quantum computing as the next thing we're interested in. So we wanted to be able to store kind of an inobservable piece of data inside of an item to kind of represent a qubit. So inside that 3D printed item, I've stored an RFID chip. I think it's Kat who is the magical hand there controlling the cursor. Could we play that? Thank you. All right. So that little wooden reader there has some electronics inside of it. As I place anything with an RFID chip, that card, the little 3D printed item, that RFID sticker, anything I place on top of the item sends a key press. It works kind of like an item called Makey Makey. I don't know who else here loves physical computing. I love physical computing. It is a chance for kids to learn computer science through hands-on activities. Well, the Makey Makey sends a key press signal and it can talk to Scratch. Well, this here is sending a key press signal so students can have an item and that item starts code that they read. So we got a chance to make something for kids to play with, to work with, to engineer with. That's the fun that we get to have every day. Next slide, please. That is the Fab Lab. It is just a thrill to get to work there, and you know, it's the type of fun I feel that can be had in classrooms, whatever the classroom, any day. Kids love coding. I bet a lot of people in here have had a chance for their students to work with a microbit, to code something in Scratch. In one of those photos, there's second graders, and they are using the Osmo. The Osmo, by the way, it's AI. It's using computer vision to be able to recognize tiles. But anyway, using tiles in order to write code to move a little monster around the screen. We have students there working with Lego robotics, writing in block-based code. We have students learning artificial intelligence using the facial recognition inside of Scratch. We'll have anywhere from, well, not just one, but somewhere up to 68 students in the lab at a time, and they are learning lessons tied to engineering and computer science, and it's always exciting and it's always fun. All right, so we are excited about where this goes. We've got the 10th through the 14th. We have teachers who will be here learning computer science curricula, just like so many of you will be all summer. In fact, we were in the clean room here at UC Davis today. We have a partnership with UC Davis that we really appreciate. You know, from the bottom of our hearts. We got to have teachers come out here today and go learn about computer systems, another one of the 5 areas of computer science, to learn about computer systems and how chips are manufactured, all the way from silicon up to microprocessors and beyond that. We're going to be back at the lab tomorrow, the same group of teachers. We're going to be learning, we're going to be working on some models of quantum computing. We're going to be using some stuff that we designed at the lab in order to work with artificial intelligence. There is so much to learn, and I feel like we're always at the beginning of something new. And then we're coming back here later in the week with a group of students who are going to get to go to the same lab, but also to the Raptor lab and a bunch of other stuff. There are so many jobs. There are so many opportunities. There is so much for the kids to get to learn, and computer science and STEM and the way that they work together is the doorway to that future. So thank you so much for giving up your summer to bring this back to your students, to bring them the future, to bring them into the future. I hope you have a great time. I'm sure you will this summer, working with all the amazing CS champions and their teams throughout the state. I hope you have a great summer.
And thank you, Stephen. I think I have some clapping emoji in the chat. We appreciate you and your inspiring story. I loved the trip down memory lane, the great work that you and the team at San Joaquin are leading. Loved that, and I was inspired by it. And I appreciated your glimpse of the future, even as early as tomorrow. We're circling back to bring our kickoff event to a close, and it's your opportunity to tell us your story. We're really excited. In fact, there are 992 educators from across California, from Alturas to Calexico, Stockton as well, as Stephen alluded to earlier. And each of us has a story of doing great work with kids, excited to do work with students in the 24-25 school year. And we hope you can share with us some of your hopes, some of your past experiences. So we're going to do so using a tool that we found out today has its own story that might be coming to an end eventually. We are going to be using a tool called Flip, which allows you to record some video and share your story with us, with others across the state that will be participating in a Summer of CS workshop. And we'd love for you to help us write the next chapter of this story by sharing your response to the flip that is linked on the screen. One of my colleagues, I think Sonal, she dropped the link in the chat if you'd like to record from your laptop, where you can use your phone and utilize the QR code that's also on the screen. We're going to return to this slide to close out the day today, but I wanted to acknowledge that our next step, now that we've kicked things off, we've heard some inspiring words from Katz and from Stephen, from Sonal. Our next step is to see you at a Summer of CS workshop, perhaps as early as tomorrow. As Stephen alluded to, there are workshops every week this summer in locations across California, from San Diego to the far north in Redding. Looking forward to spending some time personally with friends in Shasta as well. So we look forward to seeing you at your workshop. Again, take a few minutes as we're wrapping up early today to tell us your CS story. We're really excited to hear from you, why you're here, and what you hope to gain during your experience this summer. So I'm gonna hand this back to you to close this out, but again, an honor to be here today. I'm looking forward to meeting you all this summer. Sonal?
Thank you, everyone. And my light went out just as you passed it back to me. But I just want to thank you again. I think Jared concluded this really nicely. We look forward to hearing your computer science stories. I want to thank you again for participating in these workshops over your summer. We look forward to meeting you, many of you. I know your regional leaders who you heard from earlier on are also looking forward to meeting you. This is going to be an exciting summer, and we can't wait to see what happens as a result of this. So thank you again for being here, and I can't wait to listen to your stories. And remember, you can respond to each other as you're telling those stories, and please tell it in your way. I put some context in the actual flip. If you go to the flip, and in the directions, I ask that you perhaps may even use an element of your own cultural storytelling beginnings to tell your own CS story. I plan to do this as well, and I might start with some Gujarati words. I am bilingual, I speak Gujarati, so I might start with my native language. So if you want to be creative as you're telling your story, we welcome that. And I will certainly be on the lookout for those, and I'll be commenting away, and so will your regional leaders and your county office leaders and people that work with you. Thank you again, and thanks again. If everyone wants to put themselves back on camera, regional leaders and Kat and Jared and everyone. Take care, everyone. Thank you. I feel like I should have some outgoing music, but just imagine I'm putting a really awesome tune on right now. Your favorite one. Happy summer, everyone.